Alright guys, so today we're going to be solving equations like you've been doing, but we're going to throw in inequalities, which you guys just love. So inequalities. Pause, write the title. If not, let's move on. First, let's just briefly go over the symbols of inequalities, because what happens a lot of times is in 8th grade, maybe you got a little confused, or they didn't teach it 100% the way that it needed to be taught, so we're just going to go over it, okay? This right here, no matter what, is greater than. Okay? Greater than. Always. This is greater than or equal to. Okay? This is less than. And one way to remember it is because it looks like a dranky looking L. Like if you have an L, and on my bed again, don't judge. L, it goes that way. That's less than. So L for less than. Okay? And then this right here is less than or equal to. The reason why I go over this is because a lot of times, like, for example, you would see this in 8th grade or 7th grade or wherever you saw, and you would say 8 is greater than 6. And that is true. 8 is greater than 6. But when we read a book, we don't read from right to left. We read from left to right. So what this truly means is 6, and that symbol means less than. 6 is less than 8. When we read, we have to go from left to right. Okay? You're not really going to need this for today's lesson, but I just wanted to go over those things with you. You need to know them. Okay? So, there is only one thing different about solving inequalities versus solving equations. Only one thing. And it is the most important rule ever. Not really, but it's pretty important. It's the most important rule today, for sure. So here's the important rule, okay? The only thing that's different. So here's what you're going to write down. Ready? If you multiply or divide, by a negative, okay? So if you multiply or divide by a negative, what happens that you have to do is the inequality sign. The inequality sign flips. That is the only new thing. And also right now it means absolutely nothing to you. So I'm going to break it down for you while we show. What I mean by flipping is if your inequality sign looks like this, if you divide by a negative, then you're going to flip it and make it go that way. Okay? If your inequality sign looks like this, and you multiply by a negative, it's going to flip and go the other direction. Like that. Okay, that's what I mean by flipping. But I'm going to break this down for you even more. So here's another thing you need to know. Basically, what I need you to do is if the best friend, so if the best friend is negative, you're going to flip. That's it. That's the only new thing. If the best friend is negative, you're going to flip the sign. If the best friend's not negative, you just leave it alone. And I'll show you how to do that stuff. Every single thing else is the exact same. So, write this problem down. Pause if you need to. If not, let's move on. Normally we draw a line through the inequality sign, or so the equal sign. There's no equal sign, but we still draw our line. Okay? Just draw your line. As always. Nothing else changes. Your x, 4 is your best friend. I'm going to get rid of 10. The opposite of a positive 10 is a negative 10. This is not new. This should be very familiar to you. Positive 4x. So 4x is over here. And 42 minus 10, either in your calculator or in your head, is 32. Okay? Then we divide by 4. And then here's where we have to hold up a little bit. Is my best friend negative? And you're going to say, no, he's positive. So I'm not going to flip this. I don't have to change anything. So x comes down. This inequality sign comes down. Less than or equal to. And 32 divided by 4, if you don't know, is 8. If you can see that. 8. Okay? So that's just your answer. See? It's the exact same thing. Alright? Now let's look at something when it actually does flip. And I'll show you why. So write this problem down. Pause if you need to. If not, let's move on. Always draw your line down here. Okay, draw your line. Your K, negative 2 is your best friend. We're going to kick out plus 7. So we subtract 7 on both sides. Okay. Negative 2K comes down. The same symbol comes down. Negative 13 minus 7. If you do it in your calculator correctly, should say negative 20. So, negative 20. Alright. Then we divide by negative 2. We are used to this. This is nothing new. However, these go away, but it doesn't matter if this is negative. I mean, this 20 is negative, but that doesn't matter. Was your best friend negative? And you're going to say, yeah, he was negative. So if your best friend was negative, instead of going this way, your sign is now going to go this way. You don't add a line underneath it or anything. It's just this. So it was here, so now it's here. Okay? That made no sense. Okay, so you just flip it. And then what is negative 20 divided by negative 2? Should be a positive 10, if you can read that. So, yet again, everything's the same. The only thing that we're doing different is flipping the sign if we need to. That's it. Okay? So, another example. Pause if you need to. If you don't, let's just go from there. Draw your line. Alright. So here, if you remember correctly, I need to get my A's together. I can either bring my 5 over here or my 15 over here. I'm going to bring my 5. The opposite of a positive 5A is negative 5A. Okay, that goes away. Yet again, we're doing nothing different than we haven't done before. 15 minus 5 is 10. 10A plus 5, we rewrite the same symbol, equals negative 35. Okay, so nothing's different. Your A, 10's your best friend. I'm going to kick out the 5. The opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5. Okay, and 10A comes down. Same symbol comes down. Negative 35 minus 5 is negative 40, if you can read that. Okay, or not negative 40. Oh yeah, negative 40. Sorry. Alright, so far we have not done a single thing different than what we've been doing for the past 2 weeks. Everything's the exact same. Don't let that inequality sign freak you out. Now we're going to divide by 10. And here's where some kids get confused. Because you're going to say, well, that's negative, so I should flip. No. Is your best friend negative? Remember, if the best friend. Is your best friend negative? No. So if your best friend's not negative, it does not switch. It stays the same. Okay, you're not going to flip it. You're not going to flip the sign because your best friend's positive. Then negative 40 divided by 10 is error, because I don't know how to use a calculator as a math teacher. Negative 40 divided by 10 is negative 4. Okay? So, yet again, I did not flip my inequality sign because my best friend was positive. Doesn't matter if that guy's negative. I don't care about that dude. I care about my best friend, and he's positive. Okay? Last example, and then we're done. Go ahead and write it down. Pause it when you need to. If you're ready, we're going to draw your line. Yet again, everything is the same except for the very last step. So we're going to distribute here like we normally would. Okay? There's no number with this x, so I'm going to write a 1. 3 times 5 is a positive 15. 3 times negative 1, and this is, if you can see my calculator, is negative 3. So negative 3x, same symbol, 54. There we go. Okay? All I did was distribute. I'm x, negative 3 is my best friend. I'm going to get rid of the 15. The opposite of adding 15 is subtracting 15. That goes away. Make sure you bring down a negative 3, not just the 3. So negative 3x, that symbol, which is greater than. 54 minus 15, if you can't see, is 39. Alright? Then we divide by negative 3. Yet again, so far we've done nothing different than what we've been doing for a long time. These go away. Was your best friend negative? You're going to say, yes, I'm dividing by a negative number. So x, since the best friend's negative, I have to flip. So this flips that way. And then 39 divided by negative 3 is negative 13. And that's it. Okay? Everything is the same except the last step. Solving inequalities and solving equations are the exact same thing except for the flipping. That's it. On your assignment today, you're going to have equations mixed with inequalities. So some of them are going to have an equal sign here, right here, and some are going to have an inequality. So it's the same process except for the very last step. If you're having questions, let me know. Get started.